Hello everyone! Thank you for tuning into Vidiot Entertainment Studios for this episode of Vidiot Movie Reviews. I'm the Nerd Lust Daddy, and today we continue our series reviewing every North American released live-action video game film adaptation. And this time, we bring to you another sequel to a movie we previously reviewed. So, without further delay, let's take a look at 2004's Resident Evil Apocalypse. You ready to get in on this, Pidds?
Cha, him's better be good.
Well, let's find out. So, Resident Evil Apocalypse released in theaters on September 10th, 2004, and at this time 12 games had been released in the series. Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Resident Evil Survivor, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil Survivor 2 Code Veronica, Resident Evil Gaiden, Resident Evil, the GameCube remake, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil Dead Aim, Resident Evil Outbreak, and Resident Evil Outbreak File Number 2. Again, writing and direction just borrows from the Resident Evil game series and isn't a direct adaptation of any of them, but after viewing this film here, I think it's safe to say that we can use Resident Evil 3 Nemesis for comparison due to a lot of plot and main character similarities between it and the film.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, Pidds, let's talk about the plot points here and see for ourselves. So, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis takes place about 24 hours prior to the events of Resident Evil 2. A STARS member, Jill Valentine, is attempting to escape Raccoon City as almost the entire population has been turned into zombies by the T-Virus. Umbrella sends a creature into the city called the Nemesis T-Type with a mission to kill any surviving STARS members as they are witnesses to Umbrella's experiments. While evading Nemesis and trying to escape, Jill runs into Carlos Oliveira, Mikhail Victor, and Nikolai Zinoviev, who are surviving members of a countermeasures team that Umbrella had sent into the city. Nikolai informs Jill and Carlos that there is a rescue helicopter that can be signaled if they manage to reach the city's clock tower and ring its bell. We also eventually learn that Nikolai himself was sent in to assess the situation as well as the effectiveness of the Nemesis in order to gather combat data for Umbrella, and that the US government plans on dealing with the outbreak within Raccoon City by launching a nuclear missile into it. Thus, our main characters continue their fight through the city while attempting to avoid the Nemesis and signal the helicopter in order to escape in time. Resident Evil Apocalypse picks up where the previous film left off. We see that Umbrella had sent a team into the underground laboratory, the Hive, shortly after the events of the first movie, in order to investigate and study the outbreak and what had happened there. The team gets overwhelmed, presumably by zombies and mutations that then escape into and overwhelm the city with an infection of the T-Virus. Umbrella then sends a team into the city to locate and extract key members of their personnel, including Dr. Charles Ashford, who in the film is proclaimed to be the creator of the T-Virus. He insists that they wait for his daughter and is told that they have already secured her. But then she ends up going missing after a collision with a truck happens while Umbrella is attempting to extract her. Next, we see STARS member Jill Valentine watching news reports about the outbreak, who then goes to the police station to implore her fellow officers to evacuate the city as soon as possible. We then cut to Alice, who wakes up and escapes the lab as we saw at the end of the first film, and we also see that she was assisted in her escape by Dr. Charles Ashford. Within the city, we also learn there is a group of Umbrella soldiers consisting of Carlos Oliveira and Nikolai Zinoviev, who have been abandoned by Umbrella and left for dead within the city. During all of this, Umbrella lets loose their bioweapon, known as Nemesis, in order to evaluate its combat capabilities, as well as having it attack the surviving STARS members. Through a series of events, Dr. Charles Ashford offers to both Alice's group and to Oliveira's group to divulge information leading to a helicopter that can be used to escape the city if they find and safely return his daughter to him. Eventually, both groups come together and work towards trying to find his daughter and escape. Upon the two groups joining up, Oliveira informs them that they have limited time to escape as Umbrella is going to launch a nuclear strike upon Raccoon City in an attempt to cover up the outbreak and blame it on a nearby nuclear power plant meltdown. Alright, so we have some similar plot points to the video game here that also involve some of the same characters, and while still borrowing and being very liberal with some areas of the plot, I'm actually surprised with how much closer this is to the games than the previous movie was. I think we can actually give the plot here a passing hawoo. Pidds, your thoughts on the plot?
Hawoo.
Let's see if they get setting and world representation better this time. We have the same setting, Raccoon City, just like within the game. We also have a very good representation of the Nemesis, and it being sent in with the intention of measuring its combat capabilities, as well as attacking the surviving STARS members, although its origin is not accurate. We also obviously get to see plenty of zombies, as well as some zombie dogs and lickers, so this time we get way more monster representation, and they all look really good. Representation of the Umbrella Corporation members, looks and motives towards bioweapons research at any cost is good as well. I think the big boost here was definitely including more monster and main character representation that makes it feel much more like a Resident Evil movie than the previous film. While still not 100% accurate, this is much closer, and I can give it a hawoo. Pidds, your opinion?
Hawoo.
Let's jump into the starring cast here and begin with Lloyd Jefferson L.J. Wade. Here played by Mike Epps, the famous comedian known for his roles in films such as Next Friday, Friday After Next, The Hangover, and The Hangover 2. Here he plays an original character that was never in the games. And as much as I love Mike Epps, the problem that I have with this character is that he is literally in the film as nothing more than comedic relief. He plays no crucial role other than trying to provide laughs every now and then. You could eliminate this character and never miss him from the movie, as he doesn't even feel like he fits within the universe. Unfortunately, I have to give him a chit futter. Pidds, your thoughts on LJ?
Chit futter.
Dr. Charles Ashford, portrayed by Jared Harris, known for his roles in Mad Men, Mr. Deeds, and Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, to name just a few. Here he is the scientist proclaimed to have been the creator of the T-virus. It appears as if they took liberties with the game series character William Birkin, as William also had a daughter that was purposely infected, but due to different reasons than are involved in this film. And while his portrayal of this character is good, I don't think I can give him a pass, since him being proclaimed as the creator of the T-virus isn't accurate and too much liberty's been taken here. They should have just used the William Birkin character and his daughter and it would have worked perfectly fine. But they didn't, so chit futter here from me. Pidds, what did you think of Dr. Ashford?
Chit futter.
Major Timothy Kane, played by Thomas Kretschmann, who you may recognize from his more recent roles in Captain America: The Winter Soldier and Avengers: Age of Ultron as Baron Wolfgang von Strucker. Here he is the main antagonist that works for Umbrella. He leads the team that quarantines off Raccoon City, as well as lets loose the Nemesis in order to test its capabilities. He comes off as cold and calculating, having little regard for human life and only caring about scientific and corporate advancement, which fits well within the universe. I really enjoyed the screen time with him, and he definitely felt foreboding, ominous, and cold. He gets a hawoo from me. Pidds?
Hawoo.
Carlos Oliveira. Oded Fehr, probably best known for his role as Ardith Bey in the Brendan Fraser films The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. Here he plays Oliveira, and he's one of the surviving members of an Umbrella Special Forces unit that was abandoned by Umbrella and left for dead within the city. Now, he turns his back on Umbrella like they did him, and joins up with our protagonists to try to put a stop to Umbrella's exploits. The portrayal is good as a courageous, competent, and strong leader of a special forces group, and I was really glad to see some actual video game representation through this character. Definite hawoo here for me. Pidds, your thoughts on Oliveira?
Hawoo.
Jill Valentine, played by Sienna Gilroy, known for playing Arya in Aragon, as well as playing the title role in the TV miniseries Helen of Troy. Here she plays one of our main protagonists, Jill Valentine, who was a main character in Resident Evil and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. We have an accurate look here, and her portrayal works well as the very competent and commanding member of the Police Special Forces Unit STARS. I really enjoyed the screen time with her, and this is another character from the video game series I was happy to see brought into the film to lend some cred here. Definite hawoo here for me. Pidds, your thoughts on Jill?
Woo!
Alice, portrayed by Mila Jovovich from The Fifth Element, as well as, of course, every damn Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil film. She's our main protagonist and heroine, who is an unwilling test subject of Umbrella experiments that is trying to fight back and stop them. While an original character, she fits in well still with a lot of the stereotypes that we see with lead female characters from the video game series. I never felt disengaged when she was on the screen and found her to be believable and fun to watch. Another hawoo for this character for me. Pidds, how did you feel about Alice?
Hawoo!
Alright, let's get into our final thoughts and verdicts here. Pidds, what did you think about Resident Evil Apocalypse?
Hawoo!
As usual, I have to agree with the Pidds. This isn't as terrible as I thought it would be. The introduction of actual characters and additional monsters from the video game series significantly helped keep it afloat in spite of the liberties taken with plot and characters. The special effects here, they're pretty good as well, and while this is still no high-end production, what I can best describe it as is a big-budget B-horror action film series. And since I do enjoy B-movies, I'm starting to see the draw that probably kept this series alive for so long. This one gets a 6s out of 10s from me. It's not the cream of the crop, but it is a decent popcorn flick I could recommend watching if you have some time to kill, and are a fan of Resident Evil as a franchise, or a fan of Mila Jovovich. Thank you all once again for tuning into Vidiot Entertainment Studios for this episode of Vidiot Movie Reviews. If you enjoyed our video, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share to show your support. As always, I'm the Nerd Lust Daddy, reminding you all to not be chit futters to each other. Body autonomy for all, reproductive rights for women, and peace, love, and happiness to all. Pidds, take us out, little buddy.
Thank yous. Bye-bye for now.